Assalamu alaikum and good greetings. So today we will have some light moments, I guess. This is a video suggested by YouTube to me, and I don't think I have watched this kind of video that much. This is titled Top 10 Funniest Islamic Lecture Moments! Exclamation mark. I'm not sure whether it will be really funny or what type of funny, but hopefully it is both beneficial and funny as well. Without further ado, let's watch.
Many of the ulama, like Ibn al-Hajj mentions, there are many bid'ah that go on in the mawalid and people should avoid them because of so many bid'ah. But the actual act of mawlid, now in a country that makes war on the mawlid, they're celebrating the 100th anniversary of the birth of that nation. Right now. They're celebrating, it's everywhere, I was just there. It's everywhere. The celebration of the birth of a nation. And when I came on the airplane, I'm telling you, this film was as close as you get to shirk. I mean, it was unbelievable. They had a film, and it showed first a desert scene, and it said, from the depths of the Arabian Peninsula came a man with a great vision, a man of the greatest character, a character of nobility and honor, a man of lineage, a man of truth and sincerity. And you're waiting to say the messenger of Allah. He was King Abdul Aziz. I'm serious. Right?
So the way they write history, and I used to ask this question as a young child, Christopher Columbus discovers America. He comes to the shore, look at the picture of Chris, he comes on shore, and the people are standing there. And he talks to them in Spanish and saying, I conquer you, I control you. And they probably said, cool down, man. He drinks some water. And they brought him on shore, cooled him out, and then he set to destroying them. Okay? But the history book said Christopher Columbus discovered America, and the people are standing there. That's intellectual genocide.
I would request every participant, inshallah, to bear with me, inshallah. We will give them enough time so they can share their experiences with us, and inshallah we can enhance our knowledge in the meantime. And just a reminder, the babysitting service is available. To continue with the program, inshallah.
Okay, yeah. Of course, some of these would be not funny that cause you go ha ha ha, you know, laughing out loud. It's just, I mean, you might chuckle, etc.
There is no need to fear your husband, but fear Allah. For sure, there is no need to fear your wife, but fear Allah. But sometimes if you say, do not fear your wife, brothers, they always laugh. Look at this, fear my wife. Yes, there was a joke in Egypt. They said there was like a contest. They said, those who fear their wives and those who don't fear their wives. We want to invite them, and they divide the hall into two. And they have a signboard. If you don't fear your wife, sit this side. If you fear your wife, sit this side. Everybody come, fear your wife. If you fear your wife, then sit this side. Then everybody sit the side where those who fear their wives. Everybody sit in the side. Then the side, for those who don't fear their wife, nobody was there except one person. That one person was sitting at the middle, in the side of those who don't fear their wives. Then the coordinator said, oh, we have to have trophy for this man. He's the only one who didn't even fear his wife. He's the only one of the whole Egypt. And they went to the guy and said, yes, honey, and like you are so brave. You need some kind of jaiza here. He said, for what? He said, because you are the only one who don't fear his wife. He said, no, my wife told me to be here. Meaning his wife, when the wife showed the board, said, okay, if you fear your wife, sit down there. If you don't fear your wife, be this, that. He said, okay, today, you're going to sit there. You're going to fool yourself that you don't fear me. Now you sit down there. That's why I said, my wife told me to be here.
Muhammad is a beloved name of Muslims. How many of you in this audience Either your first name, your middle name, or your last name is Muhammad. Raise your hand. Look at this. Come on, look at that. I mean, come on. I know someone who loved Muhammad so much, his name is Muhammad. Love Muhammad. You can't help it. Right? Look, they love Muhammad. And usually when you take on the name of someone, it's a badge of honor. You respect them, you love them, you honor them. So Muslims with the name Isa, Muslims with the name Moses, Abraham, Muslims with the name Yaqub, Jacob. I know Muslims with the name Yaqub, Jacob. Everywhere you see Muslims with those names. Now, I would argue that Khadija is a very popular name among Muslim women. True? Khadija is a very popular name, the name of the Prophet's wife. Aisha is a popular name among Muslim women. True or not? I would argue that the name Miriam is as popular a name among Muslim women as any other name. Am I right? Miriam, how many here are named Miriam? Ah!
So interestingly, because Khadija is the name of my wife, Aisha the name of my sister, and Maryam is also the name of my sister.
Ha! Ha! Wait a minute, raise your hand. 1, raise them up. 2, 3. So you see, 4, she just remembered.
There are some Muslims that come here bringing a lot of their attitudes from other places. And when you come to America, you have to learn what is appropriate within this culture. You have to learn that you're a guest in a host country. And the same I think would be for Americans going to a Muslim country. You are a guest in a host country. In this culture we have a saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. And there's a wisdom there in that you have to recognize that there are sensitivities. Now, part of the problem, and this is a good example that you've brought up, is the globalization of our world. We are no longer isolated communities. The Turk is no longer the barbarian at the gates of Vienna scaring us, right? The Turk is your doctor, right? I mean, seriously.
The Muslim brother opens a restaurant, and in January his business goes down, and he comes and he said, Brother Abdullah, they put the jinni, they went to the magician, and he made a spell, and he sent it across the ocean, and they're on my restaurant. Take them off, brother. So I went in the middle of the restaurant, I said, there's a jinni in this place, come and get me right now. And the brother ran. And nothing came. I said, brother, it's January, man. The people out there, they just finished Christmas. They don't have any money, man, so they're not coming to your restaurant. It's not the jinni that's on top of you, okay? And I'm not saying to say the jinn do not exist. They do exist. But in most cases, it's superstition.
Yeah, I'm not sure why in many Muslim community we have that superstition. In Malay communities as well, right? When there's Surah Al-Jinn in the Quran that explain about jinn, what they can do, what they cannot do, etc., etc. And in that surah itself, jinn is also confused why, not really confused, but question why human being is in a certain way with regard to jinn.
And as converts, in order to be Muslim, we don't have to change our names and adopt Arab clothing, the thobe that so many of us wear that say it's the sunnah. Do the research. The thobe was introduced 300 years after his death. It came from Persia, dude. That was the clothes of the Persians. We should not have to adopt a culture, so we go back to our neighborhood and speak to our boys in the park, they're like, who are you? Don't you know me? I'm Abdul Malik. I never knew no one named Abdul Malik. And what are you wearing? I got some candy. And that happened to a brother of mine. One of our homies who converted to Islam wore the thobe every day in a turban, not to chastise anyone, but Imam Nawawi never wore a turban or a kufi when he led the salah. And that's Imam Nawawi is a mujtahid in the Shafi'i madhab. And he went to the bank, dressed like that, and a man came to him and said, man, where can I buy that costume, yo? yo, that you look just like Bin Laden, B. And I'm not saying that to make fun of anyone. If you want to dress that way, that's your business. I'm pro-choice. But I'm just saying, wisdom-wise, man, for us, we go home dressed that way, man, we're going to flip our parents. And my father cried when he saw me dressed like that. He said, what happened to my son? What did they do to my son? Even his dress code has changed. Where's my boy? I said, well, I changed my name too. And I don't eat your meat. And that music is haram. And let's tear down them pictures and get rid of the dog. And the beer gotta go. And they were like, but we're not Muslims, we're kuffar. I was like, so what? Double Islami up in this house right here, boy. My dad was like, but who pays the bills and the mortgage? I was like, okay, well, mortgages are haram.
These guys from the desert were like gnarly, is the term.
By the way, those jokes is very much internal joke, right? Meaning that among Muslim, we know why is it funny, but I'm not sure if you are non-Muslim watching that, perhaps it is not that funny, right? Because is it fearsome or fearful? Because in the confinement of talking among Muslim, right? Certain things become joke because we know how that is happening, but it is bizarre that it happened that way, right? So that's why it become a joke. But for those who still fear Islam, etc., I don't think that joke come across positively.
You know, like their skin was like tree bark. They'd been out in the desert, and we were sitting in a circle, we were having a meal, and this one guy looked at me and he went, and he was speaking Moroccan, Arabic, or Berber or something. He was going, he was like, you know, the stuff that was coming, like, oh, I thought, what have I done? He was like looking at him and turning to his friend and saying, he was saying all these things like, and I said, you know, what is he saying? And he's saying, you know, you have the face of an angel. You're like the sweetness of the fragrance of a rose that's come from. And he went on and on with this incredibly beautiful stuff he was saying. But this is the disposition with which he was dispensing. And I thought, you know, it was a surprise to me. I learned something from that.
Why do people get married? The other purpose of marriage is that to have this garment, to have someone provide warmth to you and comfort, and think of it as clothes. And always have this analogy. What do you do when you shop for clothes? What do you look for? Good quality. Yes. What? Make sure that is something going to fit you.
You try it on to do that?
This is out of control here. With the exception of that.
I was just joking. All right, so yeah. Wallahu alam. So some just light moments of video clips that I guess at least internally among Muslim it is funny, many of them. But I'm wondering as I'm watching what would be the reaction of those who are not among the Muslim, because most of them are internal jokes, right? Meaning that the Muslim should understand the context and why that is considered as a joke. Well, that's that, I guess. Nothing much to comment. What do you think? I guess we'll see you next time, inshallah.